Hello everyone, this is Asra Sultana, Assistant Professor in AAA Department, ISL Engineering College. I am dealing with the subject Electrical Machines 2 for third year AAA students. Today in this class we are going to discuss about double cage induction motor and induction generator, operating principle and applications of induction generator. Previous class we have discussed about various speed control methods of three-phase induction motor. So speed can be controlled by varying the number of poles, supply voltage, frequency, and slip. And also we have seen how the speed can be controlled from both stator and rotor side. We have seen a method of concatenation where two motors are coupled with each other on the same shaft, and how we can get the various speeds for different combinations we have seen. So today's class we will see the double cage induction motor. This is the construction of a double cage induction motor. It consists of outer cage, inner cage, and outer cage leakage flux, inner cage leakage flux, mutual flux, and a slit between this outer cage and inner cage. So basically, a double cage induction motor is a motor in which double cage or two rotor windings will be used. So it can be used to obtain high starting torque at low value of starting current. So when we see the stator of double cage rotor, it is same as that of a normal induction motor. That is, the stator of double cage induction motor is same as the stator of normal induction motor. So in double cage rotor there are two layers of bars. Each layer is short circuited by end ring. So these outer cage bars will have a small cross sectional area than the inner bars, and they are made up of high resistivity materials like brass, aluminium, bronze, etc. Whereas inner cage bars are made up of low resistance copper. So we have to make a note of this, that resistance of outer cage will be always greater than the resistance of inner cage. Now the slit between the outer cage and inner cage will increase the permeance for leakage flux around the inner cage bars. So the leakage flux linking the inner cage winding will be greater than the outer cage winding, and it will have a greater self-inductance. So in the starting, the frequency of voltage induced in the rotor will be same as the supply frequency. So leakage reactance of inner cage winding will be 2 pi FL, that is much larger than that of the outer cage winding. So most of the starting current will be flowing in the outer cage winding, and this will offer low impedance to the flow of current. Hence high resistance outer cage winding will develop a high starting torque. As the load increases, speed decreases. But as the speed increases, frequency of rotor EMF will decrease. At normal operating speed, the leakage reactances, that is 2 pi SL, of both the windings will become small. Now the rotor current flowing in the inner cage will be more because the resistance of inner cage is small, and outer cage will be 5 to 6 times inner cage resistance. Now the ordinary cage rotors will be used for low starting torque, and deep bar cage rotors are used for high starting torque, and for still high starting torque double cage rotors are used. Okay, now let us see the comparison between single cage and double cage motors. So a single cage motor will have high starting current and low starting torque. Already we have discussed. So at starting, less heating losses will occur. So losses are less and hence efficiency will be high. Okay. For single cage motor, pull out torque will be high, whereas for double cage rotor it will be small. Single cage motor is costlier than the double cage motor. Full load slip of single cage rotor will be higher than the double cage rotor, so it has the higher efficiency. Now let us see the next topic, that is induction generator. So what is an induction generator? So we have seen in the DC machine, same machine can be used as both generator, DC generator and DC motor. So similarly, induction machine can be used as both induction motor as well as induction generator. So these induction generators are also called as asynchronous generators. So in induction motor, rotor will rotate because of slip. What is slip? That is relative velocity between the rotating magnetic field and the rotor. We have already discussed this in previous classes. S is equal to ns minus n by ns. Now the rotor always tries to catch up the synchronously rotating field of the stator, but it can never catch it. If it catches the speed, then slip will be zero or relative velocity will be zero, and hence torque is also zero. So machine will not rotate now when a torque is zero. Okay. So how does an induction generator work? Let us see the operating principle of induction generator. So when AC supply is connected to the stator terminals of induction machine, RMF, that is rotating magnetic field, will be produced in the stator. So this rotating magnetic field will have a speed, that is ns, and the speed of rotating magnetic field will be higher than the speed of the motor. Always n is less than ns, that is speed of the rotor is always less than speed of rotating magnetic field. If the rotor is accelerated to the synchronous speed by means of some prime mover, so it can be some engine or turbine. Prime mover can be another motor also. Okay, another induction motor also. So what is a prime mover? Which will give the mechanical energy to the generator. So it can be engine, turbine. Okay. So when the rotor is accelerated to synchronous speed by means of any prime mover, slip will be zero and torque will be zero. So rotor current will become zero when rotor is running at synchronous speed. That is when n is equal to ns, slip is zero, torque is zero, and rotor current is zero. If the rotor is rotating at a speed more than the synchronous speed, slip will become negative, and the rotor current now is in opposite direction because conductors cutting the stator magnetic field. Okay. Now in the negative slip region, the machine will act as an induction generator. This generator rotor current will produce a RMF, that is rotating magnetic field in the rotor, which will push onto the stator field. That is, it will cut the conductors, rotor conductors. This will cause stator voltage, which pushes current flowing out of the stator winding against the applied voltage. So same like how back EMF is produced in DC motor, here also voltage will be induced in the machine. Okay, now the machine will work as an induction generator, that is asynchronous generator. So now we can see that induction generator is not a self-excited machine. It will take the reactive power from the AC power line and supplies active power back into the line. When you see this diagram, you can see here active power is given back to the line. It will take the reactive power from the supply. This is AC supply line. This is induction machine and this is a prime mover. Okay, the induction machine is giving back active power to the supply and taking the reactive power from the supply. So reactive power will be needed for producing this RMF. Here we can see the torque slip or torque speed characteristics, where I have mentioned few points here, capital A, B, C and small point somewhere here. It is a small a point. Okay. There are three regions here: motoring, braking and generating regions. And this at point A we can see this is the maximum torque. At point C this is called as pushover torque. Okay. And at point B torque is zero. Torque is zero because slip is zero. Okay, slip is zero and torque is zero at point B. At point A torque is maximum. So during the motoring mode, the operating point small a will lie between points B and A. So at point B torque is zero, slip is zero. At point A torque is maximum for maximum value of slip. Okay, torque is also maximum and slip is also maximum. Okay, at point A, capital A. So induction motor is coupled to a prime mover whose speed is controlled and the operating point is A. Let us assume that if the prime mover speed is increased, then operating point move from A towards B. So when prime mover rotates at ns, slip is zero, because when n is equal to ns, we can substitute in the equation s is equal to ns minus n by ns. So slip becomes zero. Now and operating point is B now. So if the for the prime mover speed to be more than synchronous speed, slip must be negative, as a result of which rotor EMF and rotor current all attains negative values. So rotor EMF, rotor current, rotor power, rotor torque. So all these will have now negative values. So for a negative slip, the machine will act as an induction generator. And while acting as an induction generator, it will deliver its generated power back to the supply mains from where it was taken when working as induction motor. Okay, that is what we have seen in the diagram. So here we can see a self-excited induction generator. Capacitor bank is put here because it is not a self-excited machine. So we are making it into a self-excited generator. So what is the meaning of self-excited? So because of residual magnetism, some amount of flux is already there in the magnetic materials, and because of this flux, small voltage gets induced, and so it will become slowly, it will become bigger, and it will excite the generator. But induction generator is not a self-excited, so we are making it as self-excited. Okay, and to make it as self-excited, what we are doing, we are connecting a capacitor bank across the stator terminals to supply reactive power to the machine as well as to the load. When the rotor is rotated at some speed, small voltage will be generated across the stator terminals due to this residual magnetism. So because of this small generated voltage, capacitor current will be produced, which further provides reactive power for magnetization. So let us know the advantages of induction generator. Induction generator requires less maintenance because of its robust construction. And an ordinary squirrel cage motor can be used as an induction generator as it is cheaper in comparison. Parallel operation is possible without hunting, and speed variation of prime mover is less prominent. Advantages of induction generator. Induction generator will be smaller in size per kilowatt output power. It needs less auxiliary equipment. It does not have to be synchronized to supply line as that of synchronous generator. And induction generator has self-protection feature. That is, in case of any short circuit, if any fault occurs on the terminals or excitation fails, and the machine will stop the generator itself. Applications of induction generator. Induction generators are used with the alternative energy sources like windmills or with energy recovery systems in industrial processes, and they are also used to supply additional power to a load in a remote area which is being supplied by weak transmission line. Now let us see the limitations of induction generator. So as we have seen earlier, what will be the limitation? That it requires reactive volt amperes from the auxiliary equipment. An induction generator cannot generate reactive power. It requires reactive power from the supply mains for the excitation process. Therefore, one more disadvantage of induction generator is that when it operates as induction generator, it requires a synchronous machine. It can be a motor or generator for providing the required reactive volt amperes or reactive power. Thank you students for watching the video. I hope everyone understood this. With this we finish the second unit of electrical machine 2 subject. Next class I will be starting the third unit, that is synchronous machines. Thank you everyone.